Hey guys, this is Al. It's April the 17th, Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody. Um, so this week I'm focusing my attention on the 1984 Mercedes Benz 500SL. So this car was parked up in that corner over there. I'm not sure where you can see it, where that red covered up alignment machine is, right in front of that. The fuel pump was out. We replaced the fuel pump with a aftermarket fuel pump, and it lasted, I don't know, maybe a week or so. Really just enough to start it and then shut it off, and then when we started again, it was all locked up. So I bought a Bosch pump. We just put it on Friday, and not a fun job when you're on the floor, and it's real dusty down there because we haven't really, the car's been sitting for ages. So I was able to move it, put it on the lift. I'm going to get it up in the air, give it a quick inspection. I know that the rear brakes are completely shot. I know that the front suspension is in real bad shape. But we're going to take the wheels off and see what's going on. Another thing that's going on in this building, I've been coming into this building every, once a week or something like that. And the last 2-3 weeks I've been coming in here, and I have bait stations everywhere, in the corners, just to make sure that we don't get any rodents. And I'm seeing these bait stations get flung across the room, and I'm like, what's going on? Maybe it's rain. Rain's not coming in. Sometimes that happens when it rains really hard. It'll basically start streaming into the building, kind of just to run a little channel across. But maybe it's rain. Moved it around. Not sure what's going on, but I'm pretty sure it's raccoons, and I'm pretty sure I've got raccoons in this building right now. Today I walk in and one of the ceiling tiles is in the office is on the floor, and there's just like the kid left some food over. He used to bring food, so he left some cornflakes and a couple of cans of I don't know what on the shelves over there, and they're just basically everywhere, food everywhere. And I've got the little paw prints on there, so I'm going to have to deal with that now. Probably bring a live trap in, set it, and then the kid's about 5 miles away, so I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to have anything to do with it, so I'm just going to set the trap, and then when I catch one, I'll take it over to his neighborhood, let it go outside his place. So, but anyway, that's something I'm dealing with. I'll show you the little paw prints on the bumper. I've got a bumper for the CDI. And they got paw prints all over it, pretty terrifying. But yeah, let's get this thing up in the air and see what's what. So. This is the bumper. You can see little paw prints all over it. And, I freaking hate raccoons. Well, I mean, I don't hate. I actually think they're incredibly cute, but I know that they can be real mean. So, got to see what's going on. What I'm also going to be doing is I'm going to be taking off these wheels and putting these wheels on. So the wheels that are on the car right now are the wheels that are on the car right now are the 3-piece AMG Oz wheels. They don't ride great on that car because the car's really not designed for 17-inch wheels. I think it'll ride a lot nicer with the Lorenzas, so I'm putting the Lorenzas on and seeing how it behaves with those. And then maybe I'll sell those Oz wheels because they're pretty valuable to some people. Alright guys, so excuse me. Okay, so let's get the flashlight, the drop light. Okay, so this brake, the brakes seem okay on this side. There's plenty of meat left over on the pads. So this side looks okay. You can see that the sway bar bushings are a little bit old and manky, so those need to be done. I expect if those need to be done, then these will need to be done as well. It's kind of a pain in the rear job because you've got to go in there with a ratchet, but you've only got like a tiny bit of movement. Control arms don't look too bad, and I remember doing the subframe mounts, but I think they may have seen better days, but I remember doing them before. They kind of look like they're loose, right? I don't expect this kind of, maybe they're loose, I'm not sure. I'll see if I can tighten up. Lower control arm bushings look a little bit worn. Springs are fine. Subframe mount's kind of a little bit, I mean, well, I replaced those. Probably car's done about 10,000 miles since I replaced them, but that was like probably 10 years ago, not longer. Ooh, tie rods are shot. Tie rods definitely need replacing. Lots of oil here, and that's all power steering fluid. Steering shock, it's got lots of oil on it, probably from the steering gearbox. I actually rebuilt that gearbox, or had that gearbox rebuilt, but it didn't do a very good job. The shocks were new when I bought the car. Yeah, look at that, it's just power steering fluid everywhere. The shocks were new when I bought the car. I put the shocks on, but they've been on there for a few years, but they should be fine. Brakes on this side are fine, you know. Discs seem okay. Tie rods are shot, so it definitely needs tie rods. It definitely needs lower control arm bushings. You know, definitely needs sway bar bushings and end links. I remember doing the engine mount on this thing when I was doing the subframe mounts, but that's not to say they don't need to be done again. I bet they're probably okay. Okay, I got to stop saying I know I detect myself saying it a few times when I'm listening to the video. It drives me crazy. I'm sure it drives you guys crazy as well. Let's take a look at the back. Now look at the shape of this brake disc. This is completely shot to pieces. Look at that. So this definitely needs to be replaced. Sure, replace some pairs. I bet you there's absolutely zero pad left on this side, which is why it's like that. So probably take a look at that, make sure that the calipers are compressing properly. I think it makes sense to bleed the brakes as well while we're at it. It's a fuel pump, new fuel pump. I need to get that little bolt that runs down the center right there to hold the fuel pump tight. I don't know why that's missing, but it's missing. Otherwise everything else looks pretty dry over here. I had a new exhaust pipe put in because I think the one on that car was missing when I bought it. But everything else in the back looks dry, which is good. Excuse all the overspray. This was a Mako paint job, but in all honesty, they did a pretty decent job considering that it was more than 10 years ago, and it still has a nice shine to it. Brakes on this side are fine, but you know, I'll replace the calipers and the pads as well. I think I have, not the calipers, I'll replace the discs and the pads. I think I have a spare set of, I know I have like a bunch of brake pads, but I'm pretty sure I have a couple of spare discs that came with the 450SL C50 brand new ones that came in. So I'll see if I can rob those. But yeah, I mean, everything else looks okay in the back. Let's take a look. Lower control arms look fine. Subframe mounts look fine. So everything else looks okay. So really, tie rods need to be done. Sway bar links, control arm bushings, possibly. They're kind of mangy. And then figure out that power steering leak, which is probably a box itself. Even though I had it rebuilt, it's leaking again. So let me just turn the camera off and let me start poking around, seeing if I can find those brake discs. If I can find them, I'll change the brakes right now. Alright, so I couldn't find the brake discs, but I definitely have brake pads. I've got multiple brake pads. So I'll get those taken care of sometime during the week and order the parts that I need to order for the front end, the tie rods, sway bar bushings right now. I think right now what I'll do is I'll just focus on the tie rods and the sway bar bushings, and then maybe tighten up a little bit of those subframe mounts, see if they're a problem. If they're a problem, then I'll change them. I'm getting really worried about parts for these cars, because whenever I start looking for parts these days, I'm finding, you know, these distributors of Asian parts, you know, they have German names, but they source all their products from these contract manufacturers in Asia. And it's not that I have any problems with manufacturers in Asia. I mean, you know, if you go to them and you say, hey, go make me a tie rod, but make it for 1/10 of the price that I pay for it over here in Germany, you'll get a substandard product, right? Because you're not wanting to pay for a good quality product. They'll make you a good quality product, but you'll have to pay a little bit more for it. But unfortunately, a lot of these Asian source parts, they just don't last. You know, if you can't find length order Phoebe bushings, TRW, the chances are you're going to get stuck with some substandard part that may last 5,000 miles if you're lucky. So I'll check everything really carefully, make sure that whatever I replace gets replaced with a quality part, or I'll order it from the dealer. Alright, so I think that's it for the day. There's really not much else I can do. It'll just stay up on the lift as it is right now, and we'll get back to it another day. Alright, thanks very much. Take care. Bye bye.